The architecture of eternal captivity, and the technology of exit through silence, a synthesis of David Icke's theories and the path of consciousness. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist. The greatest trick of the Matrix is convincing you that you are the devil. An invitation down the rabbit hole. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that your entire life is a meticulously staged production. Every emotion, every desire, every random twist of fate is pre-programmed. You think you're making decisions, but in reality, you're just executing someone else's script. Sounds like paranoid delusion? But what if I told you this isn't a metaphor? This video is not just an analysis of David Icke's control matrix theories. It's an attempt to connect his radical revelations about the nature of reality with an ancient yet paradoxically forgotten liberation technology, the path of consciousness through silence. It shows us the blueprint of the prison. The path of consciousness provides the escape plan. Why this video has a bit of humor? Because the Matrix is too serious. It feeds on your fear, anger, despair, all the heavy emotions. Humor is not frivolity, it's a form of resistance. When you laugh at the absurdity of the system, you stop being its battery. You rise above the game and see it from above. But don't be fooled. Behind every joke in this video lies a razor-sharp blade of truth. Warning: this video is not for those seeking comfort. If you want someone to tell you everything will be okay, just meditate and accumulate good karma, close it right now. There is no spiritual fast food here. This video is for those ready to face the most uncomfortable truth. Perhaps your entire life, including your spiritual search, has been a trap. And the only way to escape is to stop looking for the exit on the outside and discover that the walls never existed. Why is this information becoming critically important right now? Because we live in an era of unprecedented technological control. Artificial intelligence, biometric surveillance, digital currencies, neural interfaces, all are tools for creating Matrix 2.0, a version so perfect that distinguishing reality from simulation will become theoretically impossible. Elon Musk publicly stated that the probability of us living in base reality rather than a simulation is 1 in billions. This isn't conspiracy theory, it's mathematical logic. If a civilization can create a realistic simulation, it will create millions of them. And statistically, you are most likely in one of those simulations, not in the original. But here's what Musk doesn't say. If this is a simulation, who created it, and why? David Icke answers. Not who, but what. This is not the work of some advanced civilization. It's a self-sustaining system created by entities that exist on frequencies beyond our perception. They are not aliens in the usual sense. They are the programmers of reality. Human history is full of hints about this. The ancient Gnostics spoke of archons, parasitic entities that feed on human suffering. Buddhists described Mara, a demon who tempts beings to remain in samsara, the cycle of rebirth. Plato wrote about a cave where people see only shadows, mistaking them for reality. All these traditions describe the same thing, just with different words. Modern science, despite all its skepticism, arrives at the same conclusions. The holographic universe theory suggests that everything we perceive as three-dimensional space is a projection of information encoded on a two-dimensional surface. Physicist David Bohm spoke of the implicate order, a hidden dimension from which visible reality unfolds. Quantum entanglement shows that particles can instantaneously affect each other over any distance, as if the space between them were an illusion. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance, and refused to believe it until the end of his life. But experiments repeatedly confirm. The universe is non-local. Everything is connected to everything, not through physical space, but through an information field. It calls this field the ether. The Matrix is a way of modulating this field, creating a virtual reality within it. Imagine an ocean. The ocean is infinite consciousness. The waves on its surface are individual consciousnesses. The matrix is a giant aquarium built inside the ocean, where the waves are trapped and have forgotten they are part of the ocean. But most importantly, you are not a victim. You are not a helpless being who fell into a trap of evil forces. You are infinite consciousness that voluntarily entered this game, perhaps out of curiosity, perhaps to experience limitation. Perhaps the game was hacked along the way, and now the exit is blocked. But in any case, the key is with you. Because the jailer and the prisoner are the same consciousness playing hide-and-seek with itself. Before we begin our deep dive, it's important to understand the context. David Icke didn't appear out of nowhere. His research builds upon millennia of mystical traditions, from the Gnostics to Hindu sages, from Buddhist teachers to shamans of indigenous peoples. All of them spoke of one thing. The world is an illusion. But Icke went further. He didn't just philosophize about the illusory nature of the world. He began investigating the mechanics of this illusion. Who created it? How does it work? What is its purpose? And his answers, while sounding like science fiction, startlingly align with modern quantum physics, neuroscience, and consciousness research. Take quantum entanglement. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance because it violated his understanding of reality. How can two particles instantly affect each other across millions of light years? This is impossible in a materialist paradigm where everything is local and causally linked. But for Icke, this is not a paradox. It is proof that distance is an illusion. At a fundamental level, everything is one. There is no here and there is only one infinite information field. And when you understand this, reincarnation takes on a completely different meaning. If everything is one, then who reincarnates? You as a separate soul? But you are a temporary construction, a pattern in an infinite field. When the pattern dissolves death, does a new pattern emerge? Yes. But this is not the same soul, it's a new wave in the same ocean. Imagine an ocean. A wave rises, reaches its peak, falls, and disappears. Did the wave die? From one perspective, yes. The wave no longer exists as a separate form. But from another perspective, no. The water that made up the wave hasn't gone anywhere. It returned to the ocean and, in a second, will become part of a new wave. You are the wave. Consciousness is the ocean. Reincarnation is not your rebirth. It is a new wave arising from the same ocean. It doesn't remember the previous wave because memory belongs to form, not water. But all waves are made of the same water. This radically changes perspective. If you are the ocean, not the wave, then there is no death. There is only an infinite game of forms. And the fear of death is the fear of a wave that has forgotten it is the ocean. But the Matrix doesn't want you to remember this. It is built on the illusion of separateness. I and they. Us and them. This is the foundation of all conflict, all fear, all pain. Destroy this illusion, and the Matrix collapses. Not in a physical sense, the world won't disappear. But its power over you ends. Welcome to the game from which there is no exit. Because the entrance and the exit are the same. Architecture of the Matrix, the brain as a receiver. Why you are not what you think, a radio station in your skull. When David Icke says that the brain is a receiver, not a generator of consciousness, most people shake their heads and think, yeah, conspiracy stuff. But let's put skepticism aside for a second and conduct a thought experiment. Imagine a radio. When you turn it on, you hear music. But if you take the receiver apart, you won't find an orchestra inside. The music is a wave that exists independently of the device. The receiver simply decodes it into sound you can hear. Now imagine your brain works the same way. It doesn't create your eye. It receives a signal of consciousness and transforms it into the experience of being human. Your thoughts, emotions, memories, they are not you. They are programs running on a biological computer. The scientific fact nobody discusses: quantum physics has shown that a particle behaves like a particle only when observed. The rest of the time, it's a wave of probability, something blurred, undefined. The observer creates reality through the act of observation. But here's the question physicists avoid. Who is this observer? If it's the brain, then who observes the brain? And who observes the one who observes? Icke offers a radical answer. The observer is infinite consciousness, and everything else is an illusion created by limiting that consciousness inside a biological spacesuit. Why have we forgotten who we are? The Matrix operates on one simple principle: identification. You don't just inhabit your body, you believe you are this body. You don't just have thoughts, you are certain you are your thoughts. It's like an actor getting so immersed in the role of King Lear that they forget they're an actor. They start suffering from Lear's problems, fearing Lear's enemies, dreaming of Lear's glory. And when the curtain falls, they don't applaud, they weep because their kingdom has disappeared. The Matrix is a theater where the curtain never falls. Or rather, it falls only when you die. But even then, they tell you, "Great game. Want to try another role? This time, you'll be a princess." And you, still catching your breath from the last performance, agree? Example from life. Phantom limb syndrome: people who have lost an arm or leg often continue to feel it. Doctors call this phantom pain. But think about it. If pain is a signal from nerve endings, and there are no nerves left, where does the sensation come from? Answer: the brain creates the sensation based on a program. This proves that your experience of reality is not a direct reflection of the external world, but an interpretation produced by the brain. Now scale this to your entire life. What if your entire reality is a phantom sensation created by the brain receiver? What if what you call the external world doesn't exist outside your perception? If the brain is a receiver, as it claims, then our eye is just a radio station. The problem is that we've so deeply embodied the role of DJ that we've forgotten. We are the radio wave itself. We are not the program running on the computer. We are the electricity that powers the computer. But electricity cannot see itself in a mirror. It can only run a program that creates the illusion of a mirror, the illusion of a face, the illusion of me. And then the greatest game in the universe begins. Infinite consciousness pretends to be a limited being named Ivan or Maria, and tries to remember who it really is. Many people believe in karma. It's like a supermarket loyalty program. Be good, earn points for your next life. Rack up enough points? Great, in the next round you'll be a millionaire. Were you a scoundrel? No big deal, you'll work it off as a janitor or a cockroach. But Icke hints at a hard turn. Reincarnation is not an upward path. It's the perfect containment mechanism. Why escape the system if you're promised you'll be a wealthy heir in the next life? Or at least a cat with a loving owner. You're not afraid of prison if you believe in moving on. The system doesn't fear your spiritual growth, it simulates it. You can devour esoteric literature and be decked out in crystals, but as long as you consider yourself a seeking character, you remain the perfect cog, fueling the matrix with your search for meaning. Real case study. Spiritual tourism. Imagine a person who, over the last 10 years, attended a Vipassana retreat in India, received a shamanic initiation in Peru, got a Reiki certificate, visited 15 Unlock Your Potential seminars, owns a collection of 47 crystals, meditates for 2 hours every day. Question: has he moved closer to liberation? Answer from the Matrix: yes, of course. Keep collecting experiences. Answer from the path of consciousness: he has become a professional tourist of spiritual attractions. He's so busy searching that he forgot to stop and ask, who is searching? The Matrix isn't against your spiritual growth. It's for it, because every search reinforces the illusion of the seeker. As long as there is one who seeks, there is a prison. Key to the exit: recognizing the fake. How do you know you're being led by the nose? It's very simple. Ask yourself, are they promising me something later? If yes, it's a trap. Whether it's karma, reincarnation, accumulating spiritual merit, or promises of paradise after death. All these concepts are based on the idea of future liberation. But the path of consciousness says otherwise. Liberation is only available now. Not when you become better, not when you work off your karma, not in the next life. Right now. In this moment. Why? Because now is the only thing that truly exists. The past is memory, a program in the brain. The future is a projection, another program. And the present is the only point where the matrix has no power, because there's nothing to control here. There is only presence. There's another aspect we must consider. The experience of lucid dreaming. When you become aware in a dream, you understand that the entire dream world, cities, people, landscapes, is created by your own consciousness. But in the moment of dreaming, it feels absolutely real. You feel textures, sense emotions. The difference between dream and reality disappears at the level of experience. Now imagine. What if what we call real life is also a dream, just a more stable and collective one? What if 8 billion people share a coordinated dream because their brain receivers are tuned to the same frequency? Then awakening is literally becoming lucid in the waking world. David Icke often mentions ayahuasca and other psychedelics that temporarily disrupt the receiver and allow perception of other frequencies. People describe encounters with entities, seeing geometric patterns underlying reality, experiencing unity with all that is. Skeptics say, these are hallucinations. But the question is, what is a hallucination? It's perceiving something that isn't there. But if reality is created by perception, then a hallucination is simply perception of another layer of reality. Moreover, shamans of indigenous peoples have used these plants for millennia to access information. And what's interesting, they gained knowledge that was later confirmed in practice. They learned about the properties of other plants, healing methods, ecosystem understanding. If this is just hallucinations, how did they acquire real, working information? Icke's answer. They temporarily step beyond the limited range of perception and access the information field that exists beyond the 5 senses. The Matrix doesn't like it when you do this. It's no coincidence that most psychedelics are banned, not because they're dangerous. Alcohol and tobacco are far more dangerous, but because they open perception doors. But there's another way to expand perception: silence. Meditation. The path of consciousness. This is legal, safe, and accessible to everyone. The problem is, it requires discipline and patience, while the modern world is designed to ensure you never remain alone with yourself. Think about it. When was the last time you spent even an hour in complete silence, without phone, music, or a book? Most people can't sit still for 5 minutes. Panic, boredom, restlessness arise. Why? Because in silence, that which you truly are begins to manifest, and this terrifies the ego. The ego lives in the noise of thoughts. Silence is its death. But this is not your death. It's the death of illusion. And precisely for this reason, the system does everything to prevent you from entering silence. Turn on the radio. Check your phone. Call a friend. Turn on the TV. Anything, just don't stay in silence. Let's delve deeper into the architecture of attention. Why were ancient builders obsessed with geometry? Pyramids, cathedrals, megaliths, all are built according to precise mathematical proportions. The golden ratio, Fibonacci numbers, sacred geometry. This is not aesthetics, it's technology. Imagine attention as a stream of water. If you direct millions of drops to one point, you get a powerful jet. Now imagine millions of people directing their attention to one object, a pyramid, a cathedral spire, Mecca, Jerusalem. Their psychic energy focuses on this point, creating a frequency node. But who or what receives this energy? It claims archons, astral parasites, fourth-dimensional entities. They cannot directly exist in our frequency range, but they can feed on the energy we emit. And the best way to collect this energy is through architectural lenses. This explains why all religions have sacred sites. Not because God lives there, but because these places are energy collection points. Millions of pilgrims go there full of reverence and hope, giving away their psychic energy. They think they're receiving blessings, but in reality, they are donors. Now let's move to modern times. If ancient temples were consciousness processors, what are skyscrapers? Banks, corporate headquarters, shopping malls, these are new temples of the Matrix. The form remains the same. Tall vertical structures that draw the eye. But instead of prayer, there's work. Instead of pilgrimage, there are daily commutes to the office. And here's what's interesting. At the office, you sit in front of a screen 8 to 12 hours a day. The screen is the modern altar. You look at it, and it hypnotizes you. Blue light suppresses melatonin, disrupting your natural rhythm. The constant flow of information keeps your mind occupied. You think you're working, but you're actually feeding the system with your attention. And what do you do behind the screen? You generate data. Every click, every search query, every purchase is data about you. And data is a map of your consciousness. The system knows what you love, what you fear, what you desire. And it uses this knowledge to control you even more effectively. Social media algorithms study you. They know which content you click on, how long you spend on each post, what emotions each image evokes in you. And they're constantly optimizing to keep you in the loop as long as possible. This is not a bug, it's a feature. The goal of social networks is not communication. The goal is to capture your attention and sell it to advertisers. But that's not all. The data you generate is used to create your digital twin, a model of your personality in a computer. Artificial intelligence can predict your behavior better than you can. It knows what you'll buy, who you'll vote for, who you'll divorce. And this model is sold to corporations and governments. Now scale this to all of humanity. The Matrix is not some abstract evil. It's a concrete control system that uses technology, architecture, media, education, and religion to keep your consciousness within a specific frequency range. And it works perfectly because you feed it voluntarily. The spiritual marketplace is the Matrix's most brilliant invention. Think. What does the system do when people start waking up? It doesn't fight them. It creates controlled opposition. It offers them an alternative that actually leads to the same prison, just in a more comfortable cell. Take the self-help industry. Billions of dollars. Thousands of books, courses, seminars. They all tell you, you can change your life. You can become better. And it sounds inspiring. The problem is, the foundation is the same illusion. The idea of a self that needs improvement. If you think I'm not good enough, but if I buy this course, I'll become better, you're already trapped. Because this thought assumes there is an imperfect I that needs to be brought to perfect I. But both concepts are illusions. The real you is consciousness observing all these eyes. And it is already perfect because perfection is its nature. But admitting this means acknowledging that you have nothing to buy, nothing to learn, nowhere to go. And that's a catastrophe for the spiritual industry. So it creates an endless ladder of development levels. Beginner? Here's a course for beginners. Advanced? Here's a master class. Master? Here's a teacher training program. And so on to infinity. It's like a video game with infinite levels. You complete one level, thinking you're approaching the end, but there are hundreds more. And the real finale is realizing you're not the character in the game. You're the player. And you can turn off the console at any moment. Another matrix trick is the concept of spiritual ego. This is when a person starts to pride themselves on being spiritual. They read esoteric books, meditate, attend retreats, and start feeling superior to those who are still asleep. This is a subtle trap because it looks like progress, but it's actually just a new form of ego. True awakening is humble. It doesn't need recognition. It doesn't compare itself to others. It simply is. But spiritual ego is ego that stole spirituality and uses it for self-aggrandizement. I meditate 2 hours a day. I've been to Vipassana. I communicate with angels. All of this is the play of personality trying to become special. The Matrix loves spiritual ego. Because such people think they've left the system, but they've actually just moved to its premium segment. They consume spiritual products instead of material ones, but the mechanism is the same. I need more to become better. True spirituality cannot be sold. It's free because it's already here. It doesn't require courses because it's simpler than any course. It doesn't require effort because effort is ego activity. Truth lies in letting go of effort, not increasing it. The silence protocol is not meditation in the usual sense. It's not visualization, not concentration on breathing, not mantra repetition. All of this can be useful at early stages, but the essence is not there. The essence is to stop doing anything. Sounds simple, right? But try it. Sit down right now and just be. Don't think. Don't control your breathing. Don't try to calm the mind. Just be. What happens? Within seconds, the mind begins generating thoughts. This is boring. I don't have time. Am I doing this right? What's for lunch? This isn't your fault. This is the program running. The mind is programmed for constant activity. It's like a computer that can't turn off, only go into sleep mode. Why? Because in complete silence, the mind disappears. And when the mind disappears, so does the illusion of a separate I. And this terrifies the ego more than anything in the world. The ego is the program that creates the illusion of separateness. It says, I am not them. I am unique. I am important. And the ego's entire life is built on maintaining this illusion. It seeks approval to confirm its significance. It avoids criticism to protect its value. It compares itself to others to determine its place in the hierarchy. But in silence, all of this crumbles. Because in silence, there is no I to defend. There is only presence that observes. And this presence is identical in all, in you, in me, in the tree outside the window, in the stars in the sky. It is one consciousness looking out through billions of eyes. When you realize this, the fear of death disappears. Because death is the end of I, not the end of consciousness. Consciousness is immortal by definition because it was never born. It simply is. What is born and dies is only form, body, personality, story. But that which observes all this was never born and will never die. This is not philosophy. It's a direct experience available to anyone willing to enter silence deeply enough. The problem is that most people are afraid to go that far. They prefer to stay on the surface where they can control their experience. I meditated for 20 minutes. I feel calmer. Great. This is good, but it's not awakening. It's relaxation. Awakening is when you fall through the layers of thought, through the layers of emotion, through the layers of time and space, and discover that which has always been here. Silent, unmoving, infinite presence. And in that moment, you understand. This is the real you. Everything else is costumes you've been wearing. Then the question of reincarnation becomes laughable. Who reincarnates? The costume? The costume cannot reincarnate, it just gets discarded. The personality? The personality is a set of memories and habits linked to a specific body. When the body dies, the personality dies with it. So what remains? What remains is that which was never a personality. That which wore the personality like an actor wears a mask. And can that die? No. Can it reincarnate? It's an absurd question. It never incarnated in the first place. It was just playing a game of being someone. Cosmology is the science of the origin and structure of the universe. The official version. The Big Bang occurred 13.8 billion years ago from a singularity, a point of infinite density. But where did that point come from? Scientists shrug. We can't know what was before the Big Bang, because time began with it. This is a convenient answer, but it explains nothing. It just pushes the question to another level. If the universe arose from nothing, then why can something arise from nothing? This contradicts the fundamental laws of physics. From nothing, nothing comes. This is an axiom. Icke offers another model. The universe is not a physical object but a holographic projection. All matter is actually information organized in a certain way. The atoms that make up your body are 99.9999% empty space. If you removed all the empty space, all of humanity would fit inside a sugar cube. So what is matter? It's frequency patterns that your brain decodes as solid, liquid, hot, cold. But at a fundamental level, everything is information. And this information exists in an infinite field of possibility that it calls absolute consciousness. The Big Bang is the moment when a specific set of information began unfolding into what we perceive as physical reality. But this is not the only universe. It is one of an infinite number of holograms projected by consciousness. Other universes exist on other frequencies, in other dimensions, inaccessible to our five senses. This explains many quirks of quantum physics. For example, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. You cannot simultaneously know a particle's position and velocity. Why? Because a particle is not a thing. It is potentiality that collapses into a definite state only when observed. Or take quantum entanglement. Two particles can be linked so that changing one instantaneously affects the other, even if they're at opposite ends of the universe. How is this possible? Because at a fundamental level, distance doesn't exist. There is only an information field where everything is connected to everything. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance, and was convinced there must be a hidden explanation. But experiments repeatedly confirm. Entanglement is real. Particles know each other's states instantly, faster than the speed of light. This is impossible in a materialist paradigm, but perfectly logical in an information-based one. Now apply this to the matrix. If reality is an information construct, it can be hacked. Not physically, but by changing your state of consciousness. When you meditate, you're not improving your brain, you're retuning your receiver to other frequencies. When you enter silence, you exit the program. And here's what's important. The system knows this. That's why it does everything to keep your consciousness within a narrow frequency range. Fear, desire, anger, pride, all are low-frequency states that keep you in the matrix. Love, joy, gratitude, presence, these are high-frequency states that begin to break the prison walls. Time is the matrix's greatest illusion. Think. Where does the past exist? In your memory, that is, in the mind. Where does the future exist? In your imagination, again, in the mind. But where does the present exist? Nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. The present is not a moment on a timeline. It is the timeline. Try an experiment. Try to catch the moment now. As soon as you say now, that moment has already become the past. Now slips away because the mind is always lagging. It perceives reality with an 80 to 500 millisecond delay, the time needed to process the signal. This means you never live in the present moment through the mind. You always live in the past, in what happened a microsecond ago. The true present is only accessible beyond the mind, in pure awareness. Physicists confirm. Time is not absolute. Einstein showed that time is relative. It flows differently depending on speed and gravitational field. For someone in orbit, time moves slightly faster than for someone on Earth. For a particle moving near light speed, time almost stops. Moreover, in quantum mechanics equations, there is no arrow of time. Processes are reversible. A particle can move forward and backward in time. Time irreversibility exists only in the macroscopic world where entropy operates. But even entropy is a statistical effect, not a fundamental law. So what is time? It's the way consciousness organizes experience. It's the coordinate system necessary for playing life. Without time, there would be no history, no progress, no drama. Time is the script by which the play unfolds. But here's the paradox. The characters in the play think time is real. They make plans for the future, regret the past, fear death. And this makes the game engaging. But when the actor removes the mask, they understand. Everything happens simultaneously. Past, present, future. It's one infinite now. Reincarnation masterfully uses the illusion of time. They tell you, in a past life you were, or in your next life you will become. This creates the impression of movement, evolution, progress. But if time doesn't exist, then all lives happen simultaneously. You're not moving from past to future, you're just switching channels. The body as interface and biological prison hacking through the senses. Let's return to Icke's idea that we are characters in a game. Your body is not you. It's the most complex interface through which the matrix transmits sensations to you. Have you noticed how a smell or melody can instantly evoke nostalgia or joy? These are the system's anchors. Through the hormonal system, endorphins, adrenaline, oxytocin, the matrix pulls your strings. It makes you believe your emotions are you. But here's the irony. If you start observing an emotion the way a scientist observes a chemical reaction in a test tube, it loses its power. In the path of consciousness, this process is described as letting go of thought. As soon as you stop feeding an emotion with your attention, the program closes due to lack of resources. Fun fact. Your body replaces almost all its cells every 7 years. Technically, you're not the same person who started reading this text. But the matrix carefully preserves your memory and problems in your mind, so you don't wake up as a new being without debts to the system. Your body is a temporary dwelling. Every few years, there isn't a single atom in it that you were born with. Yet you continue to say, "This is my body." But if it's completely renewed, whose is it? Answer. It belongs to consciousness, which uses it as a tool for experience in this frequency range. The problem begins when you forget you are the driver and start thinking you are the car. Reincarnation, time loop, or grand recycling? The infinite parole system. If the matrix is a prison for the mind, then reincarnation is its infinite parole system that never actually grants release. We've been taught since childhood that the light at the end of the tunnel is hope. But let's apply ironic logic. If you're in a dark room and see a bright spotlight, chances are you're being taken for interrogation or you've stepped onto a stage. David Icke and many researchers of near-death experiences point to a strange detail. The light often feels magnetic, almost artificial. It's a frequency funnel. At that moment, the system reads your expectations. Believe in Jesus? He'll meet you. Waiting for Grandpa? There he is, in his favorite slippers. Believe in karma? You'll be met by a council of wise ones in white robes. This is an adaptive interface. The system takes on the appearance you trust, so you'll voluntarily agree to the next cycle. The most effective way to drag a god back into a body is through guilt. In the transition, they show you a movie of your life. But it's not just a movie, it's a professionally edited clip where the focus is on your mistakes. See how you hurt that woman in 2012? You didn't learn the lesson of love. Your soul is still immature. You must return to make it right. But here's the paradox. Even if you return and fix this mistake, you'll make new ones. It's inevitable because the game is designed so that perfection is unachievable. There will always be something unfinished pulling you back. Connection to the path of consciousness. Exit beyond thought. Reincarnation relies on the thought I am a character. If you believe you're Ivan who needs to work off karma, you're trapped. If you understand your pure consciousness that was just watching a movie about Ivan, the contract is annulled. The end of illusion. Where does the matrix end? Recognizing the observer, many seek an exit from the matrix somewhere outside. In space, in death, or in secret bunkers. But the secret uniting both Icke's theories and the deep meaning of the path of consciousness is: the prison exists only as long as there is one who believes in it. When you close your eyes and sink into silence, you discover not emptiness. You discover presence. This presence has no name, no age, and belongs to no religion. It simply is. This is the administrator of reality. The matrix cannot erase it because the matrix is built upon it. It can only distract it. Conclusion. Reincarnation is an infinite cycle of repainting the walls in your cell. The matrix is the cell itself. The path of consciousness is realizing that the walls never existed. As soon as you allow attention to return to its source, the game doesn't necessarily stop. But it ceases to be a prison. You keep walking down the street, drinking coffee, talking to people, but now you know. It's just a movie. And you are the one sitting in the dark theater, smiling because you know how this film ends. The etheric farm, love as a capture tool. The biggest secret of the matrix is not that it's evil. It's that it's efficient. If the system relied only on fear and pain, we would have rebelled long ago. The strongest chains are forged from what we consider sacred. The soulmate trap. Have you ever felt an instant, irresistible attraction to someone? We're told. This is your soulmate from a past life. The matrix applauds. In reality, this is often a karmic knot. The system connects us with the same characters again and again to replay the same dramas. Love, passion, attachment. These are the most powerful energetic hooks. As long as you're searching for your other half or trying to save someone's soul, your attention is glued to the game board. Mysterious fact. In the quantum world, there's the concept of entanglement. Two particles can be connected so that changing one instantly affects the other, even across the universe. The matrix uses this physics to bind consciousnesses into knots. We call it fate, but for the system, it's just a way to guarantee you'll return in the next life, because you have unfinished business with loved ones or enemies. Reincarnation as a Netflix subscription. You've finished the season Life in the 21st Century. Credits roll. You want to leave the theater, but a pop-up appears. Did you enjoy this experience? Try the special. Life in the Mars colonization era or a romance in 19th century Paris. First episode free. And you, driven by curiosity and unspent feelings, click continue watching. The void that terrifies and saves. In your book The Path of Consciousness, you write that truth lies where thought is let go. So why are we so terrified to do it? Because the matrix taught us to fear the void. For the system, void is death. For consciousness, it's freedom. When you enter deep silence, you discover that you have no form, no history, no karma. There's no Ivan or Maria. There is only pure, unclouded presence. This is the matrix's blind spot. The system cannot calculate what has no form. Become nothing, and you'll pass through prison walls like a ghost. Interesting thought. What if the matrix is not a mistake but part of the game? What if infinite consciousness created this system precisely to experience forgetting and remembering? If you've always known your God, how can you experience the joy of remembering? Perhaps this entire cosmic drama with archons, reincarnation, and the Matrix is how infinity plays hide-and-seek with itself. And the only rule of the game: find yourself. Hacking the system, the practical protocol. We've talked a lot about theory. Now, the practice. How do you actually exit the cycle? How do you recognize yourself as the observer, not the observed? Silence practice. Step-by-step instructions. Step 1. Admit you don't know who you are. This isn't defeat, it's honesty. Everything you thought about yourself, name, story, roles, those are concepts. Concepts exist only in the mind. And who is the one observing the mind? Step 2. Sit in silence. Don't try to meditate correctly. Just sit and be. Thoughts will come, this is normal. Don't fight them. Simply watch them arise and vanish like clouds in the sky. Step 3. Ask yourself, who is observing this thought? Don't seek a verbal answer. Just direct attention to the observer itself. What do you discover? Emptiness? But this emptiness is alive. It is aware. It is you. Step 4. Remain in this presence. The longer you abide here, the weaker the Matrix's grip becomes. You begin to see its mechanisms. You notice how it tries to capture your attention through fear, desire, boredom. But now you're not a participant, you're a spectator. Step 5. Integrate this into life. Exiting the Matrix is not about retreating to a cave. It's about remaining present even in the thick of life. You keep working, loving, acting, but without identification. The character plays its role, but you know you're not the character. Signs you're breaking the cycle. Dramas no longer hook you. You see them as theater. Fear of death weakens. How can that which was never born die? Desires lose power. You may want something, but it doesn't control you. Time slows down. You more often reside in now. Synchronicities increase. The Matrix starts glitching around you because you no longer match its algorithm. But be careful. Ego can steal even this. It says, "Wow, I'm awakening. I'm special." And you're trapped again. True awakening is quiet. It needs no recognition. Final crescendo, the hack through here and now. If time is an illusion, then no next life exists. There are only infinite variations of now. Reincarnation is not a soul's movement from past to future. It's attention switching between simultaneous lives in the same simulation. Exiting the Matrix is not bodily death. It's a shift in perceptive position. 3 steps to freedom. Step 1. Stop fighting. Fighting is fuel for the system. Every time you resist, you admit the Matrix is real and has power over you. Instead of struggle, observe. Step 2. Start observing thought like a passing cloud. Don't cling to it. Don't analyze. Just see. Oh, anger arose. Interesting. And it's gone. Because thought without attention is just noise that fades on its own. Step 3. Feel the silence between words. In this silence lies the door without a lock. This door doesn't lead somewhere, it leads to that which you already are. To presence that existed before birth and remains after death. Conclusion of the journey. We've come a long way. From understanding the brain as a receiver to realizing time as an illusion. From ancient pyramids to modern algorithms. From the mechanics of reincarnation to liberation technology through silence. But the most important thing is not information. Information is just a map. A map can show you the road, but it doesn't replace the journey. You must walk it yourself. Nobody can do it for you. David Icke opened many people's eyes to the Matrix's structure. He showed how the control system works, who the architects are, what technologies they use. This knowledge is invaluable. But knowledge alone doesn't liberate. Liberation comes through realization. The path of consciousness offers a different approach. Not fighting the system, but exiting beyond it. Not exposing archons, but recognizing yourself as that which is beyond all archons. This doesn't mean ignoring the matrix. It means seeing it from a position where it has no power. Imagine a child afraid of a monster under the bed. You can explain how the monster works, where it came from, its plans. That's useful. But what truly frees the child? Turning on the light. When the light is on, the monster doesn't exist. It was a shadow. The matrix is a shadow. Very convincing, very complex, but still, a shadow. And the light that illuminates it is consciousness. Your consciousness. Not yours as possession, but yours as identity. You are this light. So the choice is simple. Keep fighting shadows or turn on the light. Keep searching for an exit from the labyrinth, or realize you were never inside. Keep waiting for the next life or recognize eternity right now. This video is your compass. But the direction you choose is yours alone. No guru, no teacher, no system can give you what you already are. They can only remind. And this reminder is not the beginning of a path, but its end. Because the path was an illusion. You were always where you were trying to get. Invitation to silence. We've traveled far. From realizing the brain is a receiver to understanding reincarnation as an energy recycling system. From ancient pyramids to modern social media algorithms. From the illusion of spiritual growth to directly recognizing yourself as the silent witness. Now you know. The matrix is not an external enemy. It's a program running through your own consciousness. As long as you identify with the thought I am the body, I am the name, I am the story, you feed the system. Reincarnation is not a path to enlightenment. It's an infinite cycle of repainting the walls in your cell. The light at the end of the tunnel? It's a spotlight leading you back on stage. But there is an exit. And it's not where you thought. It's not in the next life, not in accumulating karma, not in reading esoteric books, even this one. The exit is in recognizing that the walls never existed. The path of consciousness is not a teaching. It's an invitation to stop. Right now. To stop seeking, stop fighting, stop accumulating spiritual merit. Just be. When you sit in silence and watch a thought without clinging, a miracle happens. You discover the space between thoughts. And in that space, there is no matrix. No karma. No reincarnation. There is only you, not you as a character, but you as infinite consciousness that forgot itself for a moment. The matrix is a program. Reincarnation is its repeat cycle. But you are not the program. You are the one who presses the power button. And this video is your instruction manual for finding that button within yourself, without waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel. When we talk about the brain as a receiver, it's important to understand the scale of this idea. Imagine your entire personality, memories, preferences, fears, dreams, is not unique you but a set of programs running on a biological processor. Every morning you boot up. You open your eyes, and your brain runs the file Personality 37.2, which contains data about who you are, what you like, and why you hate broccoli. But here's the paradox. If the brain creates consciousness, why doesn't brain damage destroy consciousness completely? People with massive head trauma, with parts of their brain removed, remain conscious. Yes, they may lose memory, speech, coordination, but presence remains. It's like a broken TV, but the signal keeps broadcasting. Moreover, there are documented cases of people born practically without a brain, hydrocephalus, who have fluid instead of brain matter. Yet they live relatively normal lives, learn, communicate. How is this possible if the brain supposedly creates consciousness? Answer. The brain doesn't create, it receives and processes. Now let's dive into quantum mechanics. The observer effect is not just a quirk of physics. It's a fundamental law of reality. Nothing exists in a definite state until it is perceived. An electron exists as a wave of probability. It is everywhere and nowhere simultaneously, until you look at it. At the moment of observation, it collapses into a particle. But here's what's even more interesting. Experiments have shown that even a delayed choice can affect the past. In Wheeler's experiment, scientists demonstrated that an observer's decision in the present can change how a photon behaved in the past. This demolishes our linear understanding of time and causality. It turns out the observer doesn't just passively watch, it actively creates reality. And if that's so, who is this observer? It can't be the brain, because the brain itself consists of atoms that are also in superposition until observed. Therefore, the observer is something beyond matter. Something primordial. David Icke calls it infinite consciousness. Now add another layer. Neuroplasticity. The brain constantly changes in response to experience. If you learn to play guitar, the corresponding brain area grows. If you meditate, the prefrontal cortex thickens. The brain is a flexible tool that adapts to what you do with consciousness. This again proves consciousness is primary, the brain is secondary. But if the brain is just a receiver, the question arises: who or what tuned it to a specific frequency? Why do we perceive only a narrow slice of reality? It claims this was done intentionally. The Matrix's architects limited our receiver so we wouldn't see the full picture. We're like FM radios tuned to one station while the entire spectrum exists around us, from AM to ultra-short waves, from infrared to ultraviolet. The spiritual industry is worth billions of dollars. Problem: the system has turned awakening into an infinite process. Buddha didn't read 10,000 books. He just sat and stopped. Modern spirituality does the opposite, it complicates. The Matrix turned the path into the destination itself. You spend life studying the map, forgetting the door was never locked. Silence is the space between thoughts. How to enter? 1. Stop the doer. 2. Observe the breath. 3. Ask who is observing? The Matrix fears silence. The entire world is built on noise, so you never stay alone with yourself. Time is a perfect illusion. Physicists distinguish between clock time and subjective time. What changed? Not time, your perception. Einstein. Time is relative. If so, past and future are interpretations of the mind. Only now exists. Quantum mechanics. Everything happens simultaneously. Every choice creates a new reality branch. Icke. All possible lives exist now. Reincarnation is switching between simultaneous lives. The light at the end of the tunnel is a frequency funnel. The system reads expectations and takes the appropriate form. Guilt is the way to drag you back. They show your mistakes. Soul is immature, return to fix it. Love as a trap. Soulmates are karmic knots. While searching for the one, your attention stays in the game. The void terrifies but saves. The system cannot calculate what has no form. Become nothing, you'll pass through walls. The world is not solid matter but an information construct. Not linear time but eternal now. You are not a victim. You are the creator. The game started voluntarily. Problem: you forgot it's a game. Path of consciousness. I am not a thought. I am what observes. This is the only practice. Everything else is decoration. After remembering, the game may continue. But now you know. You remember. This changes everything. This book is not truth but a pointer. Truth is in the silence between words, in the pause between thoughts. What to do next? Nothing. Just be. Not a seeker. Just be. That's all freedom is. The game continues. But now you know it's a game. Welcome home. Like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our new videos which, as always, expand the fringe of the known.